Good morning and welcome to the webinar. My name is Susan Taylor and I'm here to assist Jackie Peterson in talking about her method for solo and encore entrepreneurs. And I welcome you all. There's a few housekeeping things that I'd like to go over with you. If you have questions, please type them into the chat window, which is on the right-hand side of your screen, and I will be able to see them and I will pass them on to Jackie. If you have any technical problems, type that into chat as well, and we'll get started. Now, there are many of you here, which excites us no end, and I'd like to turn this over to Jackie. Jackie Peterson, who is the author of Better, Smarter, Richer, who has been working with startup businesses for years and years and years and has come up with several methods to assist solos and encore entrepreneurs. And here she is today to introduce you to her newest offering. Jackie.
Thank you, Susan. It's wonderful to be here this morning and with all of our attendees to this wonderful presentation. Many of you know I'm just on the verge of a brand new offering called Best Beginnings. We start Best Beginnings on September 16th. I'm just very excited about this new product because it's life-changing for the new entrepreneur. It's based on the method I've developed over the past 15 years called Better, Smarter, Richer. And I've used it with both my personal clients and while teaching and advising at the Small Business Development Center in Portland, Oregon. Today, I want to introduce all of you to my method. But first of all, let me talk a bit about Better, Smarter, Richer, and then I'll explain how and why I saw the urgent need for Best Beginnings. You'll be able to implement the ideas and the strategies from the Better, Smarter, Richer method to increase your financial success as a solo. I want to encourage you to ask questions, as Susan said. Type them into the chat room, and at the end, we're going to have time to answer those questions and understand, have you get further understanding about things that you may be wondering about or you may need some clarification. And I'm just really thrilled we have such a large audience here. And I know you're eager to begin, so let's begin. My clients often tell me that they love my solo business method that I call Better, Smarter, Richer, but that they need help with the very beginning steps. They're unsure about how to select the best business, how to overcome anxieties about asking for money, how to talk about themselves and their brand new businesses, and how to manage the tasks that they know are necessary, but about which they know next to nothing. I meet literally hundreds of beginning entrepreneurs, and I realize that there's just an urgent need for the information in Best Beginnings, which is a safe and structured method for successfully beginning a business, even if you have no idea what you might be best at or what you need to do to get started from scratch. So again, let's talk about Better, Smarter, Richer for a moment. I'll tell you that this method is and how it's so radically different from traditional teaching about entrepreneurship. No one else is talking about this approach, yet it works, and it works really well. And as hundreds of thousands of Americans yearn to start their own business, most of them are getting bad advice on how to proceed. We'll talk about that in a bit. They're told that unless they build a business based on what I'm going to call the standard corporate structure, they will fail. We know that the corporate approach requires that an entrepreneur build a business that will ultimately have him or her as the president, presiding over a company of managers and workers. And that means that the initial founder is no longer hands-on involved in providing the product or service that the business offers. So if the initial idea for the business was to work hands-on and experience the joy of, say, creating a hand-built pot or pottery or delivering life coaching seminars, if you follow that traditional method, all that work will be done by others. In the traditional corporate business model, the founder spends his or her time managing staff, worrying about getting bigger, and satisfying investors. Artists, consultants, healthcare providers, and many others have no wish to abandon the creation of their product or service. They want to be hands-on involved. So remember, the standard corporate business model teaches that success lies in hiring others to do the work. But this is not how it'll work if you alone, and you alone, can create and deliver the product or service you want to sell. Think music, or writing, or art. You can't hire someone to do that for you. Too often, creatives, encores, and health service providers and other professionals are told that being successful in a solo business is not possible. Now, I don't believe that is true. And I have developed a business method that allows the artist to continue to be an artist and not become an unhappy manager or an overworked, discouraged, starving artist. This method is also perfect for encores, those over 50 who want to spend their next 30 plus years doing what they love while securing their retirement finances. So let's talk about how the better, smarter method, richer method is different. Hiring people to do your work. Don't you love that picture? Hiring people to do your work is often presented as the only way that you can succeed in business. The work itself, whether a product or a service, is at the bottom of the business pyramid, with you, the entrepreneur, at the top, directing the work of staff or managers. Solos are not interested in this, or they can't do it. They want to do the work, create the art, deliver the services themselves. And I've developed a method that ensures success without abandoning what you love doing, creating and developing your product or service, not managing a staff.
Jackie?
Yes, Susan.
I would just like to interject something here. I know that when we first met, you were teaching the standard business model, which is what you just described, that you rise to the top and other people do your work. And I remember feeling so discouraged. I mean, I was heartbroken because the work I do, which is the design and coaching of presentations and e-learning, is what I love to do. And I didn't want to give that away. And when you came out with this new approach and new method, it was like the window opened and the rainbow appeared, the rain stopped. It was such a relief to me to find out that there wasn't something wrong with me, that I didn't want to give it away to somebody else to do.
Wow. Susan, I love that testimonial and that accolade, because that's exactly what a lot of people are saying. You know, creatives, encores, consulting professionals, you know, they're working the way they are because they love doing the work that they do. I also had that experience of trying in a couple different businesses that I have had to follow the traditional model. And I was very unhappy because I had started my businesses because I love to do the work and I love to work directly with my client. And the traditional model was teaching me that what I had to do to be successful was manage others. Wasn't interested in managing others. What I was interested in doing was doing the work. And everything that I read at the time said the same thing. It said, oh, you know, if you're doing the work yourself, you really don't even have a business. You know, you're just being a technician. You don't have a business unless you're employing other people and managing other people. You know, stop doing it. The person who works for themselves is, you know, making a fool of themselves and not really building a business. Mm-hmm. That upset me so much, and I got angry eventually. And I thought, that's not true of my clients who are artists and creatives. That's not true. And I set about on quite a long quest to figure out how solos could be in business, build a scalable business, and be financially successful without giving up being able to do the work themselves. And so all of this is the result of that. You know, many artists who have tried to make a living as artists also live wind up living on a starvation budget. It's unsustainable, bare bones, and it doesn't allow for growth or physical or mental comfort. And, my method deals with this directly and finds a way for entrepreneurs to be comfortable while working at what they love. You can charge what you are worth. And furthermore, your business isn't going to be successful if you don't charge what you're worth. So I talk a lot about that in the Better, Smarter, Richer method. Encores and creatives can monetize their expertise and support their retirement and support a good life. Many encores, this is another body of solos, are simply not ready to retire. Maybe because they can't afford to retire or because they want to keep working. And this time they really want to do something they really love. My method allows encores to capitalize on the expertise they have spent a lifetime acquiring. There are more businesses being created today by those over 50 than any other age group. There are encore enterprises, and these are for people that are living what is being called the longevity bonus. All of the work that we have done as a society and as individuals to take care of our health, to take care of improved medical treatment, water, air, working conditions have all come together today for our generation to give us a life expectancy of another 30 years. This is a fabulous gift, but it's also a challenge. It's a new time of life, and it means that we can monetize what we've spent a lifetime learning, but it's also a challenge because a lot of people barely thought about supporting themselves for, say, 3 to 5 years of retirement, but now we have to look at supporting ourselves for an additional 30 years. So here's a huge, huge opportunity for solos and encores. So again, let's talk a little bit more about the Better, Smarter, Richer method. The Better, Smarter, Richer method teaches you how to create a business that is centered in your sweet spot, right in the middle of that cupcake. Don't you love that? And helps you find that sweet spot. The sweet spot is the place where your passion, your talent, and the money that you need to make intersect. Okay, if any of those elements is missing from your business, you're not going to be successful. Finding that sweet spot is the foundation of your solo success. So remember that the Better, Smarter, Richer method is the underlying philosophy behind the Best Beginnings program.
Jackie, could I interject for just a second here?
Of course.
I think that it's important to remember that there are 3 parts to finding your sweet spot. Can you do the work? Have you expertise in that field? And the other is, are people willing to pay for that expertise? But the third part is passion, and I can't emphasize how important that is, because starting your own business as a solo is not a walk in the park. It does require you to dig deep, work very, very hard. And if you haven't got a passion for what it is you want to do, I think that you can run into trouble. I don't know what you think, Jackie, but I really think all 3 of those things are really vital.
Oh, I do. And passion is kind of what keeps you going and what keeps you willing to shape your business to meet the needs of your customers. Mm-hmm. And, this is one of the things, we'll talk about this a little later, but this is one of the things in a solo enterprise where we talk about the methodology of plan, do, check, act. So instead of building a huge plan, that you start working with customers and have them help shape your business. Well, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you can run out of gas. You can get very distracted and upset and maybe discouraged when you're in that shaping process, and your passion, the commitment that you have for bringing your passion forward is what keeps you going through hard times.
Right.
Difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to remind you that the Better, Smarter, Richer method is experiential. Often someone starting a new business is told that an extensive written business plan is the only way to go forward. Now, I just don't believe that. The successful entrepreneur, of course, must have a general plan of action, but it needs to be short, flexible, and ready to change from one approach to another based on customer interaction. The successful entrepreneur asks questions, analyzes the marketplace for what is not offered, and changes and adjusts the business to take advantage of what is needed and wanted by the marketplace. I say agility is the best way to find success, not being saddled to following a fixed and immovable business plan. I have a client right now who is developing his consultancy as a coach for students going after the ACT and SAT tests. I sent him out to do market research, and he did, and he found out that there is a list of 25 resources that are handed to senior students who need help taking those tests, just from the high school where he, by the way, has taught for 40 years. He got terribly discouraged. He said, there's no room for me in this marketplace. I said, wait a minute. Why don't you go back and go to each one of those websites and find out what they actually do, and then see what they're not offering that you will offer that could shape what you're going to do in your business. He did exactly that, and it allowed him to put together an offering that is distinctly different from any of those other 25, and is a much better offering at a much better price, and is getting him the students that he wants to have. So we can't just make it up in our own minds, which is often what happens with a business plan. We need to get feedback and shaping from the target customers that we hope to serve.
Jackie, can I interject just one thing?
Of course you can.
And I think that what's important to understand is that this Better, Smarter, Richer and Best Beginnings are both based in the real world of today, which means that the kind of, quote, market research that used to be an extraordinarily expensive and time-consuming process can now be done quickly, and that you guide people to understanding how to use the internet, which has changed the whole world of marketing and of business management in extraordinary ways. I mean, this is not a course that's grounded in anything old and out of date. This is a modern approach that takes advantage of all of the materials and services we have at our command today.
That's very true, because the Better, Smarter principles simply would not work if we were not in an internet-based society, if we were not in a society that is more and more supporting solo businesses. The numbers right now are there's 30 million of them. And I mean, that's no small potatoes. And it's all about the way business is being done in the world today. So I want to remind you that at the heart of Best Beginnings, as Susan said, is the Better, Smarter, Richer method. Best Beginnings is an expansion of the ideas in Better, Smarter, Richer, applied directly to imagining and starting your business and putting it on a successful footing from the very beginning. So I'm going to go over the principles of Better, Smarter, Richer and just say a little bit about how they are tied into Best Beginnings. First principle is focus your business on only one thing. Okay, this is hard for people to do, but I say to you, you cannot be an interior decorator and a massage therapist. You cannot be an attorney and a personal trainer. For your business to be successful, you must choose and present yourself to the world as one thing. Of course, you can continue to do your other activities, but do them as a hobby, and do not lead with them as a money-making enterprise. Be just one thing and be very, very good at it. Best Beginnings helps you explore and develop your ideas and create your focus and choose that one thing. I'm going to just be after you until I can know you as one thing as part of the Best Beginnings program. Here's step 2. Fine, we've got a focus, but now we need to move ahead and develop a deep and narrow niche or what I'm going to call a specialty, mastery, expertise, authority from which to offer advice, guidance, and your products. So once you've chosen your focus, dig deeper. If you are a massage therapist, decide to develop your expertise by working with, say, pregnant women or by working with sports injuries. If you choose interior decorating, focus on new homes, or maybe just on remodels, or maybe just on mid-century modern homes. Choose a specialty, a niche. Develop your skills and your reputation in one area of your focus. Become known for one thing. Develop your expertise. Specialization and expertise lead to financial success. They are directly tied. Best Beginnings helps guide you to your deep and narrow niche. Here's principle 3. Pricing and billing at a fair rate is not only key, it is crucial to your success. If you are going to be successful, you must charge enough for your work. I see that the biggest reason that businesses fail is that they do not charge enough money for what they do. They are afraid of rejection. Here's the truth. If you do not charge enough money, you are not considered to be any good. And if you do not charge enough money, you also can't afford to live the life you deserve. You can't afford to invest in renewal and regeneration. You can't outsource when I say hire. You can't hire the help you need to look and be seen as more professional. If you don't charge enough money, you're on a downward running spiral that leads to failure. If you charge enough money, you can put yourself on an upward bound spiral that leads to the financial success you're seeking. And I want to say our Best Beginning program is designed to help you calculate the right price and teaches you how to ask for it in a sales situation. We show you how, and we coach you through practicing for the right price that is so important. Here's principle 4. Stay on track and avoid mission creep. Now, I think you can see that these ideas that I'm proposing are in fact radically different from standard business plans, which are basically designed to raise money from a bank or a venture capitalist to start a business. Traditional plans are full of detailed financial analysis, legal terms and buyout options, encouragement to have multiple products, for instance. They're geared to show growth in product sales and return on investment. This is not what a solo business is about. Certainly it's about making money, but it's also about joy and satisfaction. Staying on track is important. You will build your business because you will always be doing your best work. When you stay on track, you are focused on what you are best at. And you focus and choose your niche in something that is so interesting to you and so deep and so rich that there's always something to learn. There's always something to explore. There's always conferences, other people involved across the globe, papers to read, new techniques to study, and that keeps you on track and keeps you away from mission creep. If you lose focus or direction, you're going to find yourself doing work because it comes along. I talked to a group of attorneys yesterday, and they called it phone law. Whatever the phone sends, or door law, whoever comes to the front door. Not because it's your best work. Straying away from your focus confuses your clients. They're no longer clear about who you are and what you do, and it clouds your reputation. So Best Beginnings gives you the tools and techniques to stay on track.
I just wanted to say one other thing about that, Jackie. I think it was a very hard lesson for me to learn, which is when you are starting out and you are eager for clients and very eager for money, and somebody asks you to do something that is not in your focus, your niche, it's so hard to say no.
Yes.
It is the hardest thing to turn down, quote, work of any kind when you're in that early phase.
Yes.
I have done it, and I am here to say that it makes all the difference. It literally helps you define exactly what it is you want people to come to you for. And the money follows that. The money follows the no, which is, it's a strange thing. But
the money today follows the no.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. And we are in directly against the old conventional wisdom that I certainly grew up with, that said, always be able to offer something to anybody, whoever comes along, because then you'll never lose a client. Mm-hmm. And that makes you a generalist.
Mm-hmm. It's like the handyman. If you've got anything wrong, I can fix it. And
right. Right.
That's not what this is about.
It is not what this is about. And I like to warn people that if you become a generalist rather than a specialist, you are a commodity. If you are a commodity, you are just like the two I love to use are wheat futures and pork bellies. You get shopped on price because people cannot tell how different you are from anybody else. Perfect lead in to principle 5. Succinctly talk about your business and distinguish it and you with a unique value proposition. Your unique value proposition is how you talk about yourself. Strangers will give you the gift of 4.2 seconds of attention span. Attention span is absolutely the most rare commodity in the world. When you are networking or talking to possible clients, you must interest them and intrigue them quickly and succinctly. Your unique value proposition not only focuses the conversation and gets people interested, it helps you stay focused and on track. You can ask yourself, is this in alignment with what I really do? And if not, say no. As Susan just said, no shapes you. No helps you find the next right business. This is one of the most important things you have to be able to do. In Best Beginnings, we are going to help you develop your unique value proposition as part of the program. Okay, principle 6. Identify and target your most likely customers. Often people fear marketing because we think we have to do what Coca-Cola and Walmart and McDonald's do. We have to reach every single person, all 7.2 billion of us on the planet. Well, you know that's not true for you and your solo business. Your best marketing is to sell to those most likely to buy from you. That sounds simple, but it's not. You have to be pretty analytical about that. Who is that? Who is most likely to buy from you? The people who are your best customers, these are the people for whom you developed and designed your work in the first place. You need to create a clear description of who is your target customer, an avatar. Know their age, gender, interests, and go after them. Figure out where they hang out, what they read, what else they buy, etc., etc., and focus your marketing efforts on them. Best Beginnings, the webinar series, will help you identify and pursue your target market. And principle 7, we can't forget this for a minute, develop and use a keen business mindset to support financial success. Remember this, no matter how small it is, this is a business. It is your business, and it needs to have financial information. It must have a pricing system, a set of books, invoices, cash collection plans, packages of service, and it must report to you as the owner so that you can hold it accountable to doing what you want it to do for you. That's often a foreign concept to people, that they get to hold this business accountable to producing the results that they started the business to get. You know, they look at me in a surprise and think, I never thought that I should hold my business accountable. You must hold it accountable to making money for you. And the way you do it is through a business mindset. So Best Beginnings is going to give you the tools and the worksheets that turn your idea into a business. The Best Beginnings webinar series is designed to guide you through understanding all of these concepts of the Better, Smarter, Richer method and integrate them into every phase of your business, from ideation to design to implementation. Best Beginnings uses these 7 principles and recognizes that without a successful beginning, a solo business has a hard time being successful. You've probably heard of many people who've started lots of businesses. The ideas come tumbling out and they take shots in the dark and hope to hit the target. Without thought, research, self-awareness, and a host of other steps, no business is going to be long-term successful. But solos have limited money and time. They can't afford to waste those precious items with dozens of mistakes and false starts. Often they just give up in discouragement. And on the other hand, there's a lot of people who I've met who are simply stuck. They know they want to start a business, but have absolutely no idea how to begin. So whether you have too many ideas for your business or none at all, other than desire, Best Beginnings is for you. So let's look at a couple myths that we want to debunk in the Best Beginnings system. There's several wrong ways of building your business, and we want to debunk the myths of traditional business planning that is so stultifying. The idea is to plan in a way that helps you focus your ideas and develop the best idea for you. But this method doesn't require a huge infusion of cash or an MBA, and it can be accomplished by you if you are disciplined, if you have a willingness to work hard, and to take a hard and honest look at yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, and skills. Here's another myth that in a traditional business, we're always talking about needing financing and getting to the bank. I've spent years doing this and years trying to lobby the banks to make loans to start up small businesses, which, by the way, they've steadily refused for 40 years. They have no interest in doing that. But Best Beginnings addresses that misconception. Best Beginnings is a method that doesn't require a huge infusion of cash or an MBA. Actually, your most basic capital is going to come, it's intellectual capital, and it comes from your skill and your knowledge and your experience. If additional cash is needed, we focus on the non-traditional ways of raising money that are thankfully so available today, such as crowdfunding and working with non-traditional lenders who see the value in working with that burgeoning number of solo businesses. As we said, there are 30 million of them at this point. You know, I see starting a solo business as a cyclical process. We talked a little bit about this before. This, by the way, comes right out of the principles of process improvement in the total quality management revolution. This is how you improve a process. Well, this is how we're going to build our businesses. We're going to use exactly the same structure. It's plan, do, check, act. Best Beginnings has adopted this process. Now, it isn't a magical process that guarantees you 6 figures in 6 months, but it can give you a comfortable living doing exactly what you love, and you can live your dream and start it late in life. So let me tell you a story in the plan, do, check, act situation. I have a client, and we've been working on developing a web-based business where he hopes to become a center and a resource for information, non-traditional medical information about a condition that he works with. He's spent his whole life dealing with this condition, and now he's got some great ideas and tips and techniques and thoughts for how people can also deal with it without living on pharmaceuticals their whole life, ones that, by the way, are dangerous to your well-being after about 10 years on them. So we've worked on our plan, have the website up. He's begun to blog. He issued his first blogs, and he got feedback from someone who said, this, and this about what you're saying on your blog. I don't agree. This is true. That's wrong. And he reacted first by thinking, well, how can they talk to me this way? They don't know what they're talking about, and was just ready to answer the blog comments when he said, wait a minute, this is a potential customer. And what he is doing, even though I don't like the way he's presenting it, is that he is giving me feedback. He is actually helping me shape my business. And it isn't comfortable, but he's giving me good information here. So he wrote a totally different answer. And he said, I really appreciate your feedback. I'm sorry that you took it that way. Here's what I meant to say. I'm going to be more careful on how I talk on my blog from now on. Thank you for reading this. I hope you will stay tuned. I've taken what you've said into account. He went through, he planned, he did the blog post, and in the checking part, he got feedback, and it's shaping his business, and he's moving that shaping into how he's moving forward now with the next steps in his business. This is what we are talking about with building a successful solo business in Best Beginnings. Okay?
I think there's a big lesson in what you just said, which is that there comes a point when you believe you have answered every single question about what you should do. and you are hell-bent to do it, and if someone questions your idea, your first instinct is to become defensive. I think that's just human nature. And I think what you're saying is, in this mode, in this solo mode, you must be flexible and you must be an incredibly good listener.
Yes.
Your ears are the best part of you, not your mouth, in many instances, because the whole process of being a solo means that you have value to the people who want your service. And if you're fighting with them or pushing back against them or not listening to what they have to say, you can get yourself into a whole world of trouble.
Yes, and actually, Susan, all of us who are solos have to do that. And what I did with my client is I said, here's what you do. Sit down at your computer and write the response that comes off the top of your head. Blah, 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 blah. You don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Don't send it.
Mm-hmm.
Trash it.
Mm-hmm.
Then go back in and say, what is the learning here?
Mm-hmm.
What was the client trying to tell me? How do I make sure that this person stays going to my blog and stays with me? Because this could actually be my first real client.
Yep.
Then you write that answer. And so these are the kind of little tips and techniques that Best Beginnings is full of, you know, of telling you how to deal with some of these things. But you are totally right. As a solo, we are building our businesses in response to, you know, what our customers want. Mm-hmm. And we go through this process, we listen, and we create a business that is absolutely on point with what people are looking for because they have helped us design it. Mm-hmm. How much better than that can you get? Mm-hmm. So here's some more good stuff about Best Beginnings. I'm thrilled with this. It's full of exercises, advice, worksheets, as I said, tips, true client stories, and encouragement. Okay, we'll tell you some real stories about what has happened when we've taken these things on, just like the story we just told you. And so the Best Beginnings webinars include a packet of worksheets that we'll talk about during the course of each of the 7 webinars. You will be able to download that packet, a part of your program registration. Then you can use them and work with them each week as we take on another lesson in the program. If you have, once you have purchased the system, you will be able to go back and listen to each lesson more than one time, work on the worksheets more than one time, think about how you want to use them and how you integrate them into your work. This is not, oh, we've got you for an hour and then it's done. This is something that you can come back to as you need to come back to it, and it will be available for you and you'll be able to continue working. So Best Beginnings is out there to support your thinking and help you monetize your lifetime of skills, observations, experience, and knowledge. It's a method, it's a system. And I'm going to promise you that if you do your part, the method will work for you regardless of what you want to do. The secret of the Best Beginning program is that it draws upon your life experience, your observations, your practical knowledge. It assumes you know a lot about life and about the work you want to do. It supports you as you imagine, create, and develop the business you have always wanted. So more about Best Beginnings. It's 7-hour-long live webinars on such topics as how do I begin? How does my customer find me? What's my product or service worth? How do I speak the language of my customer? These are just 4 of the 7 lessons. We begin at the very beginning with detailed instructions and interactive work on how to find what you are best qualified to do and what will bring you the most rewards, both emotionally and financially. We'll look carefully at your past and into your future to bring together a list of ideas that you can refine and solidify. We look at the world of marketing to understand how the internet has transformed how customers and providers find one another. We know that pricing is a huge bugaboo for most beginning entrepreneurs. Asking for money is always fraught with emotional baggage and doubt, so we're going to work through all those pitfalls and transform how you see money rendered for services and get you out of that starvation mentality. Talking to customers in their language is the key to making lasting connections and building relationships. Again, we have worksheets and practices that will make this process easy for you to understand and implement. Without answers to these and other questions, a new solo entrepreneur will be hard-pressed to succeed. So I'm going to talk about the benefits of the Best Beginning program. But as we move forward, you might by now be asking yourself, well, how much is it? When do we start? What's my obligation? The price for the full program of 7 live interactive webinars is $497. We begin on September 16th, 2015, and we will be live once a week for the next 7 weeks between noon and 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. The program is full of worksheets, and you can download them as a packet as you register for the course. We will show you how to use them as we go along. Because the webinars are live, you will be able to ask questions during the webinar. This is a tremendous value. Remember, my approach allows you to start a business without having to hire any employees. This is perfect for those of you who want to be financially successful, doing what you love yourself, hands-on. So who will benefit from Best Beginnings? Well, if you're a creative, let's say a photographer, a writer, a potter, a painter, dancer, this program is just perfect for creatives. Creatives must operate as solo businesses in order to be financially successful. They must also overcome old programming that says, if you are not a starving artist, you've somehow sold out. Let's not have any more starving artists. Start that campaign right this very minute. Who else will benefit? Well, if you're a solo professional who wants to make more money in your practice. If you're a solo professional, let's say an attorney, an accountant, a consultant, a coach, Best Beginning will help you narrow your focus on the right target customer for you. Name and articulate your unique value as a professional. Understand how to find help during busy times without hiring employees, and charge enough money for success. How about health professionals? If you are an acupuncturist, an ND, a massage therapist, a caregiver, a nurse practitioner, nutritionist, Best Beginnings will help you focus your practice on the right customers. Create the words that attract the right customers, package your services to support the revenue you want, and charge appropriately for what you do, no matter what everyone else is charging. You will be able to present yourself as worth the higher fees that you deserve to be paid. You will benefit from Best Beginnings if you have always wanted to be financially successful in a career and did not know how to begin. Okay? Lots of people just simply don't know how to begin. And we're going to help people start on the right foot and work from the very beginning and make good things happen. Lots of people want to be in business for themselves but don't know how to begin. And we'll take you through the process of ideation, exploring lots of different possible ideas, and choosing the one that is most exciting and viable for you. We're going to teach you the system developed in the Better, Smarter, Richer Waterbug model. This model shows you how to spend most of your time doing what it is that you are best at and outsourcing other tasks needed to support the business. The key here is to focus, 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 and specialize, 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 and out of that specialization, charge enough for your work. We're going to encourage you to charge enough for your work. So what you're really worth. So this is a combination of both practical and competitive research and self-confidence, and taking the steps with support from us to overcome the fear and move towards financial success. The Best Beginnings team is just simply a fabulous support network. So here you are. If you want to grow your business and can't think about how to do it without hiring employees, Best Beginnings is for you. If you're paralyzed about raising your prices, this Best Beginnings is also for you. If you want to know how to begin, Best Beginnings is for you. We're going to take you step by step through knowing how to begin and how to actually get started. If you want to know what your product or service is worth, now we know when we've talked a lot about this that pricing is an art. We will talk about the value of your experience, your talent, and your unique skill set, and encourage you to add those non-material elements into your pricing equation. We're going to offer some methods to overcome the fear of asking for what your work is really worth. I have to warn you, I'm known in Portland as Jackie Raise Your Prices Peterson. But this is such a big deal. Just because we're tiny little businesses doesn't mean that we should think we have to price like Walmart. Walmart owns the low cost world. Let them own it. We are skilled professionals with a high degree of experience and education. We must charge well for our work. All we've got to do is be able to explain the value. Yes, Susan.
There's a story that you tell or a method that you use that I just absolutely love. And that is stand in front of the mirror and explain how much you are worth and how much you are charging until you stop laughing at yourself or stop making faces at yourself or start feeling guilty about anything, and that you can just stand there and do it. And I just think that's such a valuable thing.
You know, people laugh when I tell them something that's simple because it seems like it's so simple. And it is simple, but it is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my own experience has been blushing, stammering, sweating,
Mm-hmm.
you know, groaning, leaving the room and having to try again. And eventually, when you can explain and quote your price to your worst critic, that person looking back at you in the mirror, you can quote that price to anybody. It's pretty amazing, and it really works.
Yep.
So, as I say, we want you to help you know how your customer will find you. Marketing techniques are different today than they used to be. People are looking for very specific things. So it isn't just a matter of you finding your customer. It's also a matter of knowing what your customer is looking for. And as they start to look, there you are standing right there so that they can hire you and work with you. This is so great. You make yourself visible to the people who are looking for you. And let's talk about speaking the language of your customers. Specific customers want specific things. So we're going to talk about how to learn the language that your customer uses and then use that language back to the potential customer. So remember, first you have to know who your customer is, and then you have to find out what is important to them and what leads them to buy. Okay, so I think we've given a pretty good explanation of Best Beginnings. Buy. This is time to buy. We start on September 16th, 2015. 7 live in-person webinars over the next 7 weeks. We're making a special offer to those of you who are participating in this preview that the first 10 people to sign up will receive a 10% discount. The time of day, September 16th, 2015, noon to 1 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time for 7 weeks. So we'll start September 16th and run through October 28th. Each of these will be live as you participate, but they will also be recorded, and your particular key into the webinar will allow you to go back into the webinar, listen again and again and again, and take your time filling out the worksheets, take your time reviewing the lessons, take your time reviewing the Q&A that came up during that lesson. You know, this isn't just one thing that you march through it and then we expect you to be done. No, you have time to review it, to work with it, to go over it, and make it work for you. So you're going to have homework. You're going to have worksheets to use and think about and discover and design your business. You can ask questions, interact with other people, and this is just a really no-risk way to discover whether a solo business is going to fulfill your dream. And I want you to encourage you to take the step right now into the future and learn how to begin your new venture. The course is $497. I had one guest on our previews who said, Jackie, I spent thousands of dollars gaining these skills. This is just wonderful to hear that all this great work is available to me and to my clients, and for me as a brush up for only $497. I can't believe what a bargain that is. So I love it, you know, and you will be able to rewatch any session, and you can do that as many times as you wish. And your completed workbook will be your roadmap to the best beginnings of your business. So, you know, don't delay. Do it now. And as I say, if you're one of the first 10 to sign up, you're going to receive a 10% discount, bringing your price down to $447. I'm just going to encourage you to do it today. And, you know, right now, if you've got any questions, I'm available to answer them. I'd love to hear from you. Susan,
Jack,
do we have questions?
yes, we do. We've got a lively group out there. Let's see. Several people have asked if it's possible to listen to today's webinar again. And yes, it is possible. And you will be receiving an email at the conclusion of our session today, and it will give you a link that you can follow to watch the recording again. And someone has said, I'd like to send this to somebody else. I'd like to have a friend listen. And yes, you can do that too. You can forward your email to them and they can follow the link so that they can listen, which is great. This is a question for you, Jackie. Someone has asked if listening to the recordings will be as valuable as attending the live webinars, whether the recordings will have as much of an impact on them as the live sessions.
You know, of course, I think there's a lot, you know, probably 90% to be gained out of listening to the recorded sessions. If you do the work, you know, if you absolutely do the work. It's so important that you pick up your pencil and you fill out those worksheets, that you ask the questions. You can email me between, don't tell everybody that, and say, this is a question that I have. I really, really am passionately interested in people starting successful solo businesses. I think listening is a little more powerful, you know, when it's live, because you get to have interaction with other people, but certainly listening to the recordings, you know, isn't going to take that much away from what you are doing.
And you can listen again and again too,
You
right?
can listen again and again, yes.
There's no limit to the number of times you can listen to a recording.
Yes.
Let's see, let me go back and look. Someone has signed up already and can't wait.
Oh, good.
That is such good news, yes.
I can't wait either.
Someone has said, the wonderful thing about this course is that it makes it easy for folks outside of Portland to work with Jackie, just like those of us who know and cherish her in person. I think that's a wonderful comment. And again, if you know somebody who doesn't live in Portland and may not have heard about Best Beginnings, again, you could forward them the email that will come to you. And obviously the whole world is the market for Best Beginnings.
Thank you for that comment. I feel totally honored at that statement. Thank you.
Another question, it came early on in the recording, and somebody said that crafting their unique value proposition is very hard for them. Perhaps you'd like to talk to a little bit more about how Best Beginnings will help with that.
You know, it's hard for everybody. Excuse me. It's hard for all of us. First of all, we've been conditioned not to talk about ourselves, okay? And then we've been conditioned to listen, you know, first and you know, not speak up. So we work on with you a lot. I mean, this is an entire segment all by itself of developing your unique value proposition. And you try it, and then you take it out. Remember, plan, do, check, act. So you write your unique value proposition, and then you go out to some networking events and you try it and you see what happens. Do you get that shot of electricity that comes when what you've said really resonates with people? And if you do, then you keep that. If nothing happens and it falls flat, then you go back to the drawing board and work on it some more. You call upon some of your friends to work with you, people who are supporters of your business and love you and what you're doing. And you say, will you sit with me and listen to what my business is all about? And I want you to catch the really wonderful things that I say when I'm talking, because, you know, we go into a zone. I want you to catch those things and then feed them back to me so that I can put them into my unique value proposition. Another thing that you can do is work with your clients you already have. I've literally said to people, you know, I love working with you and you send me good referrals. Will you tell me what you say about me? Because I'd love to use those words. Why not? You know, we are in a shift in our economy. The people in Washington, D.C. don't seem to be talking about it yet, but more and more reports are coming out talking about the shift we are in work and in the economy. More and more and more people are moving to being solo business owners. Actually, it's expected that by the year 2040, 50% of the workforce is going to be solos. People need to learn these skills, and there's a rising awareness out in our neighborhoods, out in our networks, out in our groups of friends that, you know, it takes a lot of us to help a solo be successful, and they're willing to do that. We're getting away from that old wisdom that says, well, you know, if you don't have a business with a lot of employees, you don't really have a business. And we're moving more towards the understanding of, hey, you know, you've got a solo business. I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm going to give you some support. I'm going to give you some feedback. And when I start my solo business, you'll be able to do the same for me. Mm-hmm. Really changing.
Yeah. A couple more questions. One is, if I can't take this session, will you be offering another round of courses in the winter?
You know, that's a great question because we just talked about that this morning, and we're going to go ahead and we will finish on October 28th, and then we will start another session in November and finish before Christmas. Yes.
Good. Let's see, there is one other person who asked a question, and they said, look, I'm employed now full time, but I really want to start a business. I don't want to continue to work as an employee for someone else. Is Best Beginnings a course I should take now, or should I wait, or what is your recommendation?
Oh, if you're pulling at the bit and are excited about starting your own business, definitely take Best Beginnings now. Of course, I've got to tell you what it's going to do is rev you up and get you even more excited about going, but it will allow you some time while you're still getting the financial support from your business to build your foundation, you know, and get going and maybe explore some things. And it will also give you a set of tools that you can use, and it will give you some ways that you can begin thinking about and looking at the opportunities that are there in your life. So I'd say go.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I'd say go. I think that's the last of the questions. I think so.
Well, we just have about a minute left, and yep. I want to say to all of you who have tuned in today, it's been lovely. Just remember, Best Beginnings is a method. It's a system. It's not a magical process that guarantees you 6 figures in 6 months. But it can help you create a business that gives you a comfortable living, doing exactly what you love. You can live your dream and even begin living it late in life. I have. I'm engaged with students who's from start to finish, answering questions, lending encouragement, and a helping hand over the hard parts. I promise you that if you do your part, this method will work for you regardless of what it is you want to do. Thank you so much.